Welcome back to the channel, guys, and welcome to my picks. Well, not technically my picks, it's kind of your guys' pick. The community's picks, top 10 for the least hated characters in the Dynasty Warriors series. Now, if you haven't seen the full video of me going through all the characters and breaking down the statistics of the choices that people made based on the character, you know, who they liked, who they didn't like, where they put each character, the polls I've done, that's where this list is coming from today. The data that ranks these top 10 are coming straight from that data. Now, before we jump into the top 10 least hated characters based on the information I collected, let's start off with a couple of honorable mentions. Technically coming at like number 12, we have the deadly and one of the, at least to me, OG female characters from the game, and that's going to be Miss Zenji. Zenji only had a 1.89% of people putting her down in the D or the F tier, because those rankings were, at least the bottom tier was two rankings put together. So only 1.89% of people put her in the D or the F tier. So that's two tiers in one, and she only had less than 2% of people putting her there. Moving on to number 11, or our next honorable mention who just missed the top 10, is going to be the honorable, formidable, training master, former White Wave bandit, Xu Huang, coming in at number 11, honorable mention, a 0.05% difference in terms of being put in the D or F tier. Only 1.84% of people put him, again, in the D or the F tier. Definitely a good character, one of my favorites as well, and that's why he's here technically at number 11. With that being said, we're going to count down the top 10 least hated characters from the Dynasty Warriors series from the data that I've collected over the past few months. Let me know what you guys think about the list down below. Is it well deserved? Is it predictable? You guys will let me know. Let's go ahead and jump into the top 10 least hated Dynasty Warriors characters. Now, starting off the list at number 10, we've got, to me, in my opinion, one of the bravest characters from this series. And just like with the difference between Xu Huang and Zenji, only a 0.04% difference between this character and Xu Huang, who just missed the top 10. And that's going to be the brave Sun Quan saving at Hefei, Mr.
Me, one of the greatest warriors in the land. Sure, why not?
Ling Tong coming in at number 10. Only 1.8% of people put him down, like 1.8% on the dot, put him down in the D or F tier. I guess Ling Tong has got a lot of fans out there. And I'm not saying that to like, I was expecting him to be hated, but it was quite shocking to see that his numbers were pretty low in comparison to pretty much everyone else on the list. He's not a character that gets hated pretty often. I can see that. He's got a sarcastic personality. He's got the nunchucks. He's got a great look to him, and he's got a great relationship with Gan Ning, so I can see why people, you know, wouldn't drop him down into the D or F tier. That's all I have for him. Let's go ahead and move on to number 9. Coming in at number 9, we've got a bodyguard from the games. This character only got a 1.68% in totality of being put down in the D or F tier. Very small percentage for this character. Again, similar to Ling Tong, I didn't, you know, it's not like I expect him to be hated a lot. But it's shocking to see that this character is actually not as hated as you would think. Coming in at number 9, we've got the bodyguard for Mr. Liu Shan himself.
In the name of my father, I will continue to strive to become the best I can be.
I guess she's got some pretty good qualities when she was introduced into Dynasty Warriors 5, but she didn't do anything that would make me put her into the D or the F tier. Her weapon style, it's good for her. Her armor looks great. I think she has a good look to her. Love her personality in Dynasty Warriors 8, and that's pretty much all I really have for her. She didn't get the highest ratings on the list, but she has among the lowest overall out of all the characters, and that's why she's here at number 9. Next up, coming in at number 8, shouldn't be too surprising since he did make it pretty high overall on the list, and this character has only a 1.59% of people putting this character down into the D or F tier. Ever since he's been introduced into the game, he seems to be a character that is quite popular, which is weird because he's supposed to be like quote-unquote a villainous character, but I guess people understand him. Coming in at number 8, we've got the mastermind behind the destruction of the 3 kingdoms, and that's going to be...
I have yet to meet anyone who can withstand the brilliance of my strategies.
So again, Sima Yi, among the most popular characters out of the data I collected, he came in at number 3. People really seem to love this character, and that's something that hasn't really wavered, which is crazy because, you know, he's supposed to be, or at least in the earlier games, he was definitely more of a villain-esque type character, and then he turned out to be more of a like noble, respectable person who respects the people that he was underneath up until the point where the person became incompetent. Not much else to say about him. Coming in number 8, we've got Sima Yi. Next up, coming in number 7, a surprising person being the least hated among the list. Again, I'm not saying that to say he's supposed to be hated, because he's not. He's a decent character. I love his Musou attack in the old games, but with only a 1.56% in terms of overall totality of votes, putting him in the D or the F tier. Coming at number 7, we have potentially one of the ugliest characters in the game, always hiding his face, and that's going to be...
Appearances can be deceptive. Who could have guessed I'd be such a great warrior?
I guess a lot of people don't hate Pong Tong. He's not like a super, again, similar to Jing Sai, he's not like a super well-liked character that's skyrocketing him up into like the top 10 or anything like that. But there's not many people dropping him into the lowest tiers, and that's why he's here at number 7. People are loving him, his movesets, you know, his designs, whatever it may be. But that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on to one of my favorites, coming in at number 6 from the Wu Kingdom. Alright, next up coming in at number 6, he is technically, I guess, the lowest overall ranking on the list, but he had among the lowest D and F rating as well. A 0.01% difference between him and Pong Tong. Just shy of the top 5. One of my favorites from the game as well. I love his integrity, his honor, and he's got a great story. That's going to be...
Come, Tai Chi Chi shall be the last thing in your way.
When I was going through the list of the characters for the most popular characters according to the data, I was actually very surprised to see Tai Shi only receiving 1.5% of his votes in the lowest tiers. He still didn't get enough in the highest tiers to push him up past the number 45, which is crazy. He's right in the middle, but he has among the lowest D or F rating, making him one of the least hated characters in the game. I know his moveset's a little slow, or like it's not really the best in terms of AoE. His movestyle attacks aren't really that great. It's just okay, they're nothing crazy. His moveset's not that crazy. His design is great. In terms of being hated by the community, Taichisa is among the least of that. Cool to see. I like seeing that for him. He definitely deserves a little bit more fleshing out. Just shy of the top 5, Taichisa, great character, one of my favorites. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into the top 5. Alright, next up coming in at number 5, in my opinion, is a little shocking because I understand the controversy around the character, not in the sense that he's done controversial things. The way he's represented in the games versus like the novel or history itself is where the controversy comes in for this character. Regardless, only 1.42% of people put this character down in the D or the F tier, and just like the producer of this game, he ended up being a lot of people's favorites, reigning in at the number 4 position overall, and that's going to be the legendary one-eyed man himself.
Allow me to show you how a battle is supposed to be fought.
So Xiahou Dun coming in at number 5, starting off our top 5. Again, it's surprising a little bit to me because I know people don't like the fact that he steals a lot of people's moments, he has a lot of playtime in the game, and because he's one of the producer's favorite, he gets a lot of time that perhaps he doesn't necessarily deserve, but he's up here in the top 5. Only 1.4% of people out of all the mediums I went through, all the votes that I casted, putting him against other people, Xiahou Dun was shining, and people, I guess, aren't taking that controversy to heart because he is top 5 least hated characters in the Dynasty Warriors series, which is crazy. But I'm a little shocked to see him up here in the top 10, and I mean, that's really all I have for him. Let's go ahead and move on to number 4. Alright, next up coming in at number 4, again, a 0.01% difference between this character and the last one in Xiahou Dun. I can see her, she's definitely among a fan favorite. I don't think she's an OG character, but I consider her one. She's a OG character in my opinion. So, coming in at number 4, we have the least hated female character according to the data I collected, and she's also the most popular female character that I went through, and that's going to be Queen of the Nanman herself.
I am a descendant of the god of fire. Prepare to perish in flame.
So Zhu Rong coming in at number 4, again a 1.41% of people dropping her down into the D or the F tier, and not a lot of haters for her out here. And she's a cool character, I don't mind her at all. She's definitely got some cool moments, and she's so unique in terms of the differences that she has versus the other female characters in the game. Being part of the Nanman, that unique faction, you definitely see a lot of cool things with them, so I can see her being liked by many, not just because of the obvious reasons, but because she's got a nice moveset, all that cool stuff. Her Musou attacks were always pretty cool to me as well, and I think she's represented pretty well in the game, so Zhu Rong coming in at number 4 makes a lot of sense. With that being said, we're going to jump into the top 3. Alright, next up coming in at number 3. Little surprising, not, again, similar to what I've said before, not because I think he deserves to be hated or anything like that. It's just his low ranking is just surprising to me. He's the last character on the list to have more than 1% of people put him down in the D or F tier, but this time only 1.2% of people are dropping him into the D or F tier. He's a great character. I really like him. I love his interactions and story developments in the game, and even in different medias, I always like to see him show up and, you know, how does he handle business. But coming in at number 3, we've got the Tiger of Jiangdong himself,
That is why I am known as the Tiger of Jiangdong.
So Sun Jian coming in at number 3 is a bit surprising. It's a bit surprising. Even him being in the top 10 for the most popular characters is surprising to me because I didn't expect him to be that popular. I know people would definitely respect him and what he's done and the person that he is and what would have happened if he survived long enough to face off against Cao Cao and all of them. Definitely a intriguing hypothetical to think about. And then his weapons in the game have always been, well, the later games for me, the later games have been much better. The earlier games were okay, but the later games, the 9 ring blades, the Dynasty Warriors 9 DLC weapon, he's gotten some pretty, like, A+ weapons in the last few games, and I can see him being a fun character to play. And then what he represents and the badass that he is makes a lot of sense. But to be the top 3 least hated character is a bit shocking, just for me personally. Let me know what you guys think about that down below. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and reveal the top 2. You might already know it depending on if you watched that video or not, but if you don't, well, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, coming in at number 2. So, like I said in the last one, these 2 characters, the last 2, have less than 1% of everybody, putting them in the D or F tier. They are among the least hated characters in the games overall. It makes a lot of sense. Coming in at number 2, we've got another bodyguard. He's probably the most respected bodyguard in the game. Not saying the others aren't, but he is probably the most respected, badass, just he's your favorite to go for when you think of a bodyguard. And that's going to be Mr.
This blade shall cut down all in its path.
So Zhou coming in at number 2 it makes a lot of sense. I mean, who's gonna hate this character for the way he looks, for the way he is, for his weapon style? You can't. I mean, his personality, maybe because he doesn't talk enough, sure. I mean, I guess you can drop him down from there, but what else can you dislike about the character? He's got such a good package. Like, his compatibility with his character is top notch, right? He's the silent warrior who does his job, and that's it. Doesn't need anything else. Doesn't ask for anything else, and he's just there to do his job, and he's damn good at it. When he has his moments, they're always really, really good. He's one of my favorites as well. I love Zhou Tai. His Musou attacks, his weapon style is among the first ones that I go to for my custom characters. I love the aesthetics that he has for his weapon. It just looks really good for my created characters. And Zhou Tai, only 0.9% of people are putting him down in the D or F tier, which is an insane number to think about. Zhou Tai don't got many haters. And with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the number 1 least hated character in the Dynasty Warriors series, according to what I've collected. And coming in at number 1, not too surprising. The characters share similarities to characters on the list, similar to Taishi Ci and Shu Huang. He's got that honor, he's got integrity, he's very loyal, and he has moments of clarity that other characters I don't think have. He has his philosophical moments. He's got really interesting carved out moments for his personality, and I think that's why he's up here. His old weapon in the older games is loved by many. Newer weapons, they're okay. You know, it could be better. It could be better. But this character surprisingly only had 0.53% of people putting him down or in the D or the F tier. This character does not have many haters except for maybe the children of Wu, and that's going to be
The path of the warrior only goes forward.
So Zheng Liao coming in at number 1, it makes sense. I mean, he is the few characters in the Dynasty Warriors game who in history is the closest to an actual Dynasty Warriors character, like in real life. You guys know about the insanity of Hefei and his 1 to 125 odd. For every one person he had with him, there was 125 people they had to fight. That is insane. And his ability to lead his people through that in order to break the morale of Sun Quan and almost kill him is absolutely insane. To the point where the massive Wu army, that's 100,000 troops, did not want to attack again, knowing that Zheng Liao was there. Zheng Liao is an absolute badass in the games. Obviously, being the second most popular character out of the data I collected is going to aid that, but just because you are the number 1 doesn't mean you're gonna make a list like this. Not saying that Lu Bu had a lot of haters, because I think his was only around like 2.5% as well, so he was also very low, but he had people that dropped him in there because of perhaps the way he's portrayed, perhaps because of, you know, being shoved in our faces as being the greatest warrior when maybe he wasn't, things of that nature. But Zheng Liao doesn't have any of that, because he has the in-game representation, the way he looks, everything he's got, and he has history to back him up too. The only reason you would not like him is maybe his twin axes, or maybe the overhyping, and you're like, you know, he's not that great. I don't get it. and that happens. That makes I get it, but not many people are dropping this character down into the D or F tier. He is my favorite character as of right now, and it makes sense to see him up here as the least hated character in the Dynasty Warriors series. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for the video here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have not seen the full popularity rankings and you want to check it out, it'll be a link in the description. You can see all the characters being ranked from the lowest ranking all the way up to the highest, the percentages, all that good stuff. And that's all I have for the video today. Let me know what you guys think about my list down below, and I will see you all in the next video. If you enjoyed it, definitely appreciate a like, comment, or subscribe. And that's going to be it for me, guys. See you in the next one.